I'm Christella from Fayi, and in case you don't know, Fayi is Greek for food. Now, I've been getting so many questions about making homemade yogurt, so I wanted to jump on and show you how I do it. So I often make this maybe once or twice a week because it's so easy. And I did have a few people message me to say they were having a couple of issues with their yogurt setting. So I want to show you my setup and how I do it, and hopefully you'll get great success from this. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me in the comments and I'll try to reply to them after. So this is the homemade yogurt that I made just yesterday. I want to show you how beautiful it has set. Get a clean spoon out. So you can see on the top it is a little bit of it's a little bit yellow because it has a little bit of cream in the milk that I used. But you can see it's turned out nice and thick and beautiful. So homemade yogurt is super easy to make. I highly recommend giving it a go. So let me step you through what I do. So in my Thermomix bowl, I heat up my milk to 90 degrees. I've put 2 liters of milk in. Once you've heated it up to 90 degrees, you have to let it cool down to 37 degrees. Now, someone asked me yesterday if they're using raw milk, which is very rare because it's very hard to get in Australia. You don't actually have to heat that. You can jump straight through to adding the culture. I still like to heat it to 37 degrees so that the yogurt is at that warm temperature where it can ferment, but obviously that's up to you. So I've heated my yogurt up to 90 degrees, I've let it cool down to 37 degrees, and then with an old batch of yogurt, so I've made this one previously, I've added some yogurt to the milk that's cooled down to 37 degrees and mixed it all together, and then I would either pour it into a clean jar, or in this case, I'm going to pour it into lots of little jars. So you can do it either way, in one big tub or lots of little ones, and then you just have to keep it somewhere warm overnight, so you can leave it for 12 hours if you like. I always leave mine for 24 hours, and the reason I do that is because the cultures will eat all the sugars of the lactose in the yogurt, so it's just better for you and better for your gut, but it is a lot tangier, it's a lot more sour, so test yours. How do you like it? I wouldn't eat it straight from pulling it out of a warming dish. I would put it in the fridge for say 12 hours, a couple of hours so it's nice and cold, and then use it, because otherwise it will be very runny and the whey will separate. So they're my tips. I'm going to pour this into these little jars so you can see. Now, as I said, I use this warming, it's just like an actual yogurt heater. You don't have to. You can put like a thermal bowl with warm water, tip it out, and then it's warm enough to just cover with some blankets. That works fine. I just don't like the altering temperatures that we sometimes get, and I prefer it to be a constant temperature because I use yogurt a lot and make it often. So let me pour these ones out so you can see. So I really like these ones because they're really awesome to have in the fridge as little snacks. So once they've fermented for the 24 hours, I can just pull one out and eat it. I love throwing a bit of yogurt on top of mine and enjoying it like that. You can add some berries or whatever else that you enjoy. But the larger one is really good for if you have a family and you all eat yogurt. What I made the bigger one for is tzatziki. So this is the exact same way that you would use the yogurt to make like a tzatziki. But I actually prefer to strain this one. So I'm just going to pour this so I don't spill it. There's a bit left in that one. So this one, as you can see, it's quite thick, but for a tzatziki, I'm going to strain that, which I got this out so I can show you. Very organized, aren't I? So this is how I would strain my yogurt. I use just like a little, I think this is from the ricottas that you can buy, and a nut milk bag, and I place that on top. You could use like a sieve or something like that to be able to strain it. And then I add how much yogurt I want into this nut milk bag. You can use a cheesecloth or a muslin cloth or whatever you like, as long as it's not too thick and the whey can get through. and then you put it all into your nut milk bag. I'll put a lot more later. And then I leave that in there overnight, and the whey will drip into here. Don't throw that whey out. It's so useful. It has all the healthy bacteria in that. You can use it in your shakes. You can freeze it and add it to smoothies. Put it in a bath. It's so good for your skin. There's so many uses for it, so don't throw it out. Or replace it for water in some of your recipes or soup or things like that. Because remember, it's got that culture in there, and that's really awesome for your gut. So yeah, once that strains, I'm going to make some tzatziki from that to add some cucumbers and garlic and all that. And yeah, and that's about it. With this one, I just add a little bit of water to this and then plug it in. I'll put the lids on so the water doesn't go in, and then you just put the lid on top, and then that stays like that for 24 hours. Once it finishes, I put those jars in the fridge for 24 hours. Put the jars in the fridge overnight. So they get cold, and then I can just enjoy it straight from the jars, like this. So it's perfect. So I hope that helps you be very successful in creating your own yogurt at home. It is definitely I really find it beneficial to make your own because of all the cultures that you can get from fermenting it yourself. And you can be in control of how long you leave it for the taste. And it's also really cheap because that's just milk and a little bit of leftover yogurt. So give it a go, guys. I'll chat to you soon. Bye.